Hello, how's it going? I'm Becky Saif. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you how you can make a Reese bass inside Serum. I'm going to show you what it is, how you can make it. I'm going to show you the processing inside Serum and also the macro and LFO automation. And to make it a little bit more interesting, we're going to add some effects from Ableton as well. There is a lot to get through in this video. The timestamps, as always, are below, so you can skip back and forth to your favorite sections. And if you are looking for more long form music production, don't forget I do stream on Twitch 3 times a week, and the link to that as well as the music production Discord community is below. So I have a track here and I want to put a Reese bass in the intro because I want to highlight to the listener that this track is drum and bass and it's about to get a little bit more gritty than what it's indicating. I just want to increase the tension in the intro. So this is the intro at the moment. And I would like the Reese bass to come in here. How the tension is building up with the drums coming in as well. Now we need to add the Reese. So open up your instance of Serum, and a Reese, if you don't know what it is copies of saw waves historically that are detuned. So detuned saw waves. That is what a classic Reese bass is, but you can use sawtooths or you can use other wavetables as well, as long as you follow the detuned wave unison. And for this particular bass, I want to use a classic Reese sound. So we're going to come to the top of oscillator A, go down to analog, go to basic shapes, and move the wavetable position across until you get a saw wave. Now, to create more copies of this, you increase the unison. The more unison, the more waves you have copied. And generally, what's a good idea to do is to make it an odd number. And the reason being is so that you have one wave in the central image. A bass is nice when it's nice and fat, it's got lots of stereo width, but if you haven't got something in the middle, you can lose a lot of that impact. And so odd numbers are key. If you have something even like this, you've got a wave either side of the central image. So I'm going to use 5 and I'm going to bring the detune control down so that these waves are closer together in pitch. Now this is going to create a fatter, wider sound. If I press down on my keys, as opposed to a single wave, you've got nice, rich, wide sound there. Another thing you might want to do is go to the global section, because this is where your unison controls are, and look at the width here. Now this is on 100, it's maximum, so it's as wide as it can get on the unison control. But if you want to hone that in a little bit more and make it more central, you can bring it down. So I'm going to bring it down a little bit. Yeah, I would say around there is good. I would like the notes to move a little bit more smoothly together, so I'm going to bring the portamento up. So you can hear there with the portamento that it's creating like kind of a sliding pitch movement, which is really, really nice. Come over to the filter section, and a low pass filter on a Reese is good for giving it more warmth. So it's taking away those harsh upper frequencies. Just going to turn this channel up. Also bring up the drive. Now what the drive does is it amplifies the sound and it pushes it up, creating some overdrive, getting those rich harmonics out of your sound. Also, it's a good idea to boost up the resonance, so you're creating a notch here at the upper limit of your low pass filter, and what that's going to do is it's going to add presence to your bass. So it's going to boost up the upper frequencies, and if the listener can't hear the bass, it's going to make it more audible on things like laptop speakers, but it's also going to add to that thick, full fatness of your sound. So let's listen to it now. All right, let's go over to the effects section, and distortion is a must on Reese basses, or on any bass really. Distortion, distortion, distortion. Bring up the drive. And you can also add a compressor. Now, compressor, attenuate with the threshold, have a slightly fast attack so that you're just pulling in all these frequencies that are now moving around. Cool, it's nice and thick and fat. We want a thick, fat bass, but we also want movement in there because we want it just to come alive and make it more interesting. So we're going to go into Ableton and we're going to track the MIDI first, and then we're going to process it using effects in Ableton. And I'm going to show you a really cool trick with the frequency shifter as well. Oh, I love it. Let's look at adding Ableton's effects. The first one is erosion, and you want to go onto the noise setting and add some noise onto your bass. This is a really great technique for adding an extra layer of upper harmonics. So we're adding upper frequencies, and remember when I said about people listening on low quality sound systems? Well, adding noise tricks the human ear into perceiving that there's a low frequency sound there by hooking onto the noise first. It also adds grit and texture as well, so we're making it fatter and fuller. And then another trick that I like to do is add a frequency shifter, and we're going to bring the shape onto triangle. So this is the LFO sample and hold, and we're going to bring the amount up to 5, and then we're going to automate the rate. We're going to bring it down to a dry wet of around 35%, and that's going to then allow the original signal to come through, but also this frequency shifter automation to add movement and interest. So we're going to press the A key, open up the automation window, and move the rate control so that the rate appears, and then we're going to just draw in our frequency automation. Let's make it a little bit extreme. Something like that. Let's play that. So you can hear there that it's blending in other frequencies and moving them around on the dry wet. So we're maintaining the original signal, but it's adding more movement and more interest to these detuned saw waves. So I'm going to select it all and press Command and D or Control and D to copy over the automation. The other thing I might like to do is add some post-processing EQ. So I'm going to flip this to a low pass filter, just so that we're really controlling those frequencies and the sound after we've processed everything. Go back into Serum, and now what we can do is we can automate the low pass filter cutoff with the mod wheel. So we're going to drag the mod up to the cutoff, change it to unipolar, which is shift, option and click, or shift option, shift control and click. I'm doing it on a Mac, so whatever it is for you. All right, so now we're going to automate the macro. So move the macro control and it will appear in the automation in Ableton. Actually, I'm going to record it in. So I'm just going to turn off the record arm and I'm going to manually record the automation in. So hit record. right, so it's manually recorded in. I think I'm going to bring the crosshair up a little bit more so that it just opens the filter. Let's play it. I really like that. Another thing you can do is you can go to the LFO section and add this kind of like wobble pulsating effect on your low pass filter as well, because that's not only going to indicate to the listener the tempo of the track, because if you match it to the grid, which is what we're going to do, then it will indicate the tempo, but it also adds rhythm to the track, so a sense of urgency, which is really cool. So the LFO section creates a fat pyramid sort of shape. We're going to drag that up onto the cutoff, just bring the crosshair down, so we're just moving it a little bit, and then we're going to bring the rate up, bring it to around 1/8, and we're going to delay it so that it doesn't come in immediately. So as all these other things are moving, it's now delayed, so it will wobble after it starts. So you can hear there that pulsating feeling, but it's only coming in after the note has been triggered. So if you increase the rise as well and the smoothness, it's just going to rise into that delayed LFO and it's going to make it more smooth, which is also what we want. So you can hear how we're really making this sound wide, fat, and come alive with interest and movement. One more thing that you can do is you can layer your Reese bass and just come over to oscillator B, and there's actually a Reese wavetable inside Serum, which is here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the level all the way down so that it's actually not coming out now. And we're going to modulate this with the LFO. So that's going to come in only partially. I'm going to increase it an octave so that it's a layer on top of our original sound. And let's play it. And you may want to pass this through the low pass filter as well so that it cohesively sandwiches everything together. There you go. We've created a Reese bass. We've looked at the fundamentals on how you can process it. We've automated it and added effects inside of Serum. We've also added effects and post-processing in Ableton, and we've layered it with another sound as well. That's so much to get in this video, but I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you got something out of it. And if you did, you know what to do. Like it. Come on, guys. If you would like to help me with the YouTube algorithm as well, then please drop a comment below this video. Let me know what you thought about it and what you would like to see in the future as well. I'm Becky Saif. I will see you in the Twitch streams. Links to all of those are in the description. Thanks. Subscribe. I forgot to say subscribe. Oh God, I'm such a poor YouTuber. Subscribe, please. Subscribe. Do me a favor and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.